And welcome to Caught My Eye and Made Me Cry episode 4, and this is our weekly roundup of the best ads and what's working in the paid social landscape, and for some other brands, opportunities lost. We're not going to say worst ads anymore because I don't want to upset people, but basically opportunities lost. So starting at the beginning with the best, and we're going in with Sand and Sky. Now we work with a lot of beauty brands and health brands and fashion brands, and quite often people reference Sand and Sky. They're the brand that seems to have come out of nowhere. It's like overnight success. They do it all through selling one product, which is a Himalayan pink clay mask, which actually I finally bought over Black Friday, and it is quite good, but I've only bought it once. I've only used it once, so I'm not sure they're going to get me on the repeat purchase, but that's for another discussion. Anyway, Sand and Sky are absolute masters at what we call native creative, so creating ads specifically for the paid social landscape. And ads in the paid social landscape that really work need to have all sorts of hallmarks, like they need to feature bright colours. Their first job is to stop the scroll. They need to feature bright colours. Typically they feature lots of animations. They have lots of real people, so real customers. They often demonstrate the product and how it works. So I'm going to show you just one ad from Sand and Sky here, and you'll see these hallmarks of a native creative in action, and Sand and Sky are one of the masters at it. So what this ad does, it's really funny because when we were a year ago, we used to call these things mashups, and typically what we do is take up, and this is in our own ad production at Brought Digital, we take like a group of real people influencers, like 5 different people, and mash them up. So it'd be like person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. What this ad's doing is mashing up everything, so all the elements. It's mashing up the real people demonstrating products with real customer testimonials and press reviews. It's like get the most of everything, throw it all into the pot, put it out in one bright, eye-catching creative, and you've basically got a top performing creative. So Sand and Sky, if you're looking for ad inspiration, always worth following because they do a really, really good job.
Marks out of 10.
Everything from Sand and Sky gets like a 10 out of 10 from me.
Big fan.
So I want to contrast that with brands not born on social. So Sand and Sky is one of these brands that's come from nowhere and has really come up via social. The whole thing's done natively. And I want to contrast Sand and Sky with 2 traditional British brands, Crabtree and Evelyn and Elemis. And just let's look at the difference in their creatives from when you have a brand that's born on social and is being created by people who understand this landscape and know how to attract attention and stop scroll, and compare that with a brand that's used to more traditional marketing. So in the instance of these 2 brands, they typically they have shops and they sell through wholesale, and they're used to print marketing and they're used to point of sale marketing. It's a different type of thing, and this is where we see huge opportunities lost. So coming first to Crabtree and Evelyn. Now the reason Crabtree and Evelyn came to mind is because I was staying in a hotel the other week.
Fancy.
Glamorous. So I was staying in a hotel in Bournemouth. I went down there for work, and it was the Hilton Hotel, and they had some Crabtree and Evelyn stuff. And when I was first on magazines, the Crabtree and Evelyn press office used to send lots of products. So I was like, oh, I remember Crabtree and Evelyn, let's have a look at their products. And then because I'm me, I went straight on and checked out their ads as well, because I'm like, I wonder what they're doing. So here you see an example of a more traditional brand moving into paid social landscape without, I don't think, and if anyone at Crabtree and Evelyn says otherwise, by all means contact me, without fully understanding, in my humble view, the needs of the paid social landscape. So if we come down and look at their ads here, you can see what we have is a standard carousel with some sort of picture of a flower that possibly looks like it's wilting. And some product carousels. This is really not doing anything for me. Like, enjoy the second-hand half price when you purchase any hand, bath or body care. Again, this one, like, enjoy the second item half price, and it's got this picture. I'm not sure if the flower possibly is wilting, but and then this, it's very dark, it's not catching the attention, there's no real people. Let's just do a contrast now, a direct contrast between Crabtree and Evelyn here, and coming back to Sand and Sky over here, and it's like, I can't believe the results, this really works. Like, here it is in action, amazing, amazing, amazing. Like, look at this, we've got all this influence reviews, and then it's just not going to stop the scroll in quite the same way.
Is it on brand for them though to have that kind of toned down, not so flashy purpose?
It probably is on brand for them, but the question is, does it perform, and are they preparing for the audience of the future? And as more and more brands, I mean, we know from Facebook that niche beauty is the #1 fastest growing space in online e-commerce, and we know that on the platform, and we know that in terms of just general e-commerce stores. So if a historical brand can't maneuver to compete against those other brands, then over time, what impact will that have? And also, you can always do things on brand. I'm not saying Crabtree and Evelyn should go all bright pink, rah, 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 but they can do better than this, right? Now, I'm not joking, that flower is actually wilting.
I mean, you've gone bright pink, rah, rah, rah today, right? Okay, so marks out of 10 for these guys, on their social.
Crabtree and Evelyn for being a traditional British brand and surviving for decades, like 10 out of 10. But Crabtree and Evelyn for their paid social collection of ads, I mean, I don't know, 4? They can do better. They can get on brand and do better. So coming on to another more traditional brand, which is Elemis and their marketing. So again, Elemis is an amazing brand with great products, but more used as a company to selling through shops and wholesale than in the paid social landscape. And what they're doing, and what we see time and time again with more traditional retail brands, even when they're trying to move into the direct-to-consumer space, is they're taking what they know works from print advertising and traditional advertising and putting it into the paid social landscape, which isn't what works as well as other stuff does in the paid social landscape. So on these Elemis carousels, you see, I mean, this works. If in a magazine, it can be nice to have just a picture of some products and, you know, and this stuff. And I'm not saying these ads don't perform at all, but people are looking to be entertained in the paid social landscape, and they're looking, you know, we just recorded a video about what makes paid social ads, what makes great content in the paid social landscape. First of all, it's got to catch the eye. I don't think scrolling in my feed and suddenly getting an array of straight products is particularly eye-catching unless I'm a big fan of the brand. Secondly, it's got to deliver some entertainment and value and discovery purpose. So there's nothing here that's teaching me about the product. Lots of beauty brands do demonstrations and they do like press reviews and testimonials, all to just show like this is more than just a product. It does, here's how to use it, like overcome the hurdles. So for both Crabtree and Evelyn and Elemis, who are making that move, like everybody wants to, everyone wants to go from retail into direct to consumer, there's just opportunities being lost to really capitalise on a huge emerging market.
Great. Marks out of 10? 10 out of 10 again for the brands, but marks out of 10 for their social?
For their social advertising?
Mm-hmm. I
mean, if we were doing their ads, they'd get a much better mark than I would get from here.
Bold statements.
Bold statements.